They're making one now with a plate here instead of the stationary spikes that you can vary a little bit better. These are a real good snare. These, the way this spring is, there's no tension on it when it's not in use, and they last almost indefinitely. They just really hold their tension real well. Now this, just a ordinary 3-pound coffee can or something. If you get that and dig a hole that's going to drop in about ground level.
Kind of like playing at the beach.
Yeah. Try to get some kind of a semblance here of what's going to happen.
Is there anybody making those, or you just in Aldrich?
The Jericho Industries down in Silver City, Nevada. New Mexico, sorry.
I believe I've got the address.
I
think it's listed.
That Aldrich bear snare would work the same way if you just put it different.
Same way. The cable that we're using on these are a little bit smaller, a little quicker, but essentially the same thing as the Aldrich bear snare.
What's that unit cost?
Doggone it, I should know.
$39 a piece. 39. Okay, it's 30 something.
Some right around $40 for cable on these, and there's some of these spikes. I'll show you the I'll set this thing off now.
Dwight, just the legs snare them, or?
No.
Any method
Right
of
now,
snare?
it's any kind of snare. This is just one means.
I've not got that quite deep enough, but I hope we can give you guys the idea here that this ground's not the best.
You know, the leg snare is an idea that would solve some of Mike's concerns.
Yeah, with these.
Yeah, you can. Well, release it. That's why we're doing this, because it's going to be fun.
Then you call your local EWM and have them remove it. Exactly. Then they call Dwight and say, you go up there.
But then, you know, you can also use just the regular leg snare set with a little larger loop than the coyote leg snare.
Dwight had a very bad experience with
Good experience, actually. I was
Now,
insane at the time.
What I have here, this is just about a 3/4 inch measuring tape. We get them now before they put the paint on them is all. Makes a real good tension device. I got 3 of them taped together here. And you can use all different sizes. I got some singles, depending on what you want. But put the arch of that up, and it really makes a nice tension device, even under your number 3 traps. We use them all the time, and they sure, you can put it to whatever tension you're.
Now you try to get that pan down right to where
This is
would be
gonna
level, right?
this is gonna come down pretty level, and I'm gonna lift this up to where I'm getting some tension on these here eventually.
Okay. Now, do you just brush this in or something?
I would cut this down a little more deeper if in different ground.
2 inches?
And then you can cover this with grass or whatever. But like Major said, the lines are not really very wise and they're not very spooky. You don't have to worry about camouflaging a lot. It's nice if you can in the right spot. But you can put just some little brush around it or whatever. And this spring has got enough power to throw stuff out of the way too. So you won't have any trouble as long as you keep that. I'm still going to have.
Hey,
you want to keep this area free like of a rock or something.
You've got to have that so that arm can come back,
Springs it
right?
springs back.
And you want to have this so this lion is going to come in with this right foot as near as you can. You don't want him to step up here and have this come up and hit him.
Yes,
The chances are his foot will be ahead of him.
the
But
inside of it.
if you've got a place, block this thing to where when a lion comes in, if he's coming from this side, he's going to hit it with this foot. If he's coming from that way, he's going to hit it to where the spring will come free of the body. And you can use whatever tension you feel like you're going to need on this, depending on what you got in the area and how much tension you want to put here and whatnot. You'll notice there's some little rips in this canvas, and that's for a purpose. I've got some wires here. Well, I just gathered up a few rocks, wherever you're working, but you'll have find a rock that'll put the tension that you want on that thing. Get this sitting down there nice and firm. The idea is when he hits this, he'll have some weight shifted, and when that gives away, he's going to fall. And these things work really fast. Now,
That's all right. That's sitting up like that. It's not gonna
right,
distract.
you can cover it down a little more, but we don't worry about this. We leave it up like this. We put a little camouflage, some
Yeah.
grass or brush or whatever.
Okay, that anchor,
Now
you just
this-
pound it in there, that keeps that from once you shoot off to the side, it's going to
It
go
does
straight
two
up.
things. It holds this with your good tension right here, and it also puts this arm up. And when I get this cable set here, that's going to flip this way. If it's laying on there flat, it has a tendency to jerk your cable flat. If you got it up here, it'll jerk it up. And I've got these little guide wires here. This here, and I'm not going to go and really tie this thing down a lot, but we tie this down nice and tight back here after you get it. Get this everything the way you want it. Tie this down. Hold your cable out here. You've got your set, whatever you're going to tie to, either a drag or tie it solid, whatever you want to do out this way. Then get this set in here this way. The loop's a little big. You want this loop just a little bit larger than this can and this circle we've got in here.
1.5 inch along the outside edge.
Yes. Well, I'll show you. It's going to be a little more than that, a little less than that when we get done. Get all my good stuff.
What size of snare wire are you using there?
This, the cable,
Yeah.
5/32, I'm sure. This, right in between this can and this wire loop I've got in there, and here again, depending on the dirt, you'll cut these different lengths or whatever it needs to be to get that and set them in there at about a 45-degree angle. Get them in there fairly snug. These are plenty high. You want them sticking up maybe 2 inches above your cable. The way this ground is here.
That's a guide for the cable.
This is kind of a guide, and it's going to make this cable jump. You want to stick those wires between your can and your wire ring. The way these, you don't have to have this ring set up, but it sure makes a nice stable set.
Is that a 12 gauge wire, Delisle?
Probably number 9 would be better. I just grabbed what I had, but just a real stiff wire, and anything that'll be a good stiff wire here. And then we're gonna. That's a little close.
This should be in there pretty sturdy.
They should be in there good and sturdy. And then close this in. Now this is set up. That ground won't let me push those wires the way I want to. I'm going to have them bent this a little wrong, but I'll show you what's going to happen here in a little bit. Now this will, you want to come down around here and find you some rocks. Weight this cable down. It's not going to hurt a thing. You take another one of these pins and put it away from your swivel so that when he does, well, he's going to pop this out of the ground pretty fast. But you don't want it to,
When he hits the end of the cable.
you don't want it to interfere with your swivel action. If you need it, I'm going to have a hard time pulling this kind of stuff. Anyway, then we'll go ahead and cover all of this up. These are not like a trap. You don't have to worry so much about things inside interfering with you, but you do want to make sure that you've got a nice place that the line is going to want to step there. Feel a good soft looking spot. And I'd go ahead and
Should it be a little low to this
it
ground?
should be a little low and a little bit, or at least good and level. I should have dug that down, but I was running into pretty hard stuff. Now, if you can get a bunch of little rocks, and I would cover this better, but just for the sake of showing you here, take some rocks like this that are kind of on an edge. He's not going to want to step on them. This one's a little large for around here, but you can, I never stopped to gather up a whole lot of rock, but you can ring this set with rocks. You've got this all camouflaged, and you fix it all up here, and you've got your place picked to where the line will come in, and you can build a cubby here, or you can have a trail set, whatever you want to do. All I want to do, and then I'll answer questions to those effects if you want later. But what I want to show you here is how this snare works. Make sure when you leave that bugger, you take that latch off. Yeah.
Voice of experience.
Yeah, voice of experience. But when I first started using these things, guys, my biggest problem was trying to get that thing too low and too flat. Now, it looks bad. I agree with that, and I did it, and I jerked the rope out from under a lot of bears' feet before I started catching bear. I know that's what I was doing. I've caught a lot more bear than I have line in these things. I've got guys that's caught a lot of line, and there's been a lot of line. In Arizona, those guys are catching a lot of line with these things. The last time I talked to Jim Lackey down there, they had 40-some line that had came. If he strung the snare, they had him. He's straight running, hadn't missed a line. 40-some line. Those guys has really got it down to an art.
You were saying you had missed bear by putting the trigger a little too low?
Too low and too flat here, jerking this away. Now you can see if you got these wires out here and they're tipped in a little bit, especially these two over here. When that comes up, that's going to ride those wires, and it's going to come straight up. And you can really make that thing. You guys watch your eyes. Watch how high that cable will jump. It really comes up.
Then that little
You're gonna-
stake you put by the swivel, that helps so it locks on his leg.
What that does is hold it to where your tension, to where you're going to jerk it tight.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to have this.
Yeah.
And your rocks along here helps you that much more to grab that tension on it. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. But this is only to catch it. You got to have something out here tight to hold it.